Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my North Star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my North Star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my North Star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy. Joy
is my birthright. is my north star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my north star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my north star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my north star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my North Star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my North Star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my North Star. Joy. My joy, our joy. Joy over everything. I define my joy. I define what joy is for me. Good days are allowed.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Joy is my birthright. Joy is my...
Welcome to the 2023 Can We Talk Symposium and Joy Awards. Introducing our host for the evening, Dr. Spirit. Her accolades as a thought-leading provider of culturally competent therapy are only rivaled by her numerous accomplishments in television, radio, as an author, and through her positively engaging social media. Spirit owns T2 Spirit Enterprises with a global reach, hailing from Atlanta, Georgia. She also serves on the board of directors at the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation. She, he, they, all of us, young, old, and everyone in between, please welcome our host for the evening, Dr. Spirit.
Welcome to the 2023 Can We Talk Symposium and Joy Awards, actualizing joy for our youth. We are so excited to have you join us once again as we celebrate the second annual National Black Mental Health Professionals Day. That's right. Tomorrow, June 4th, is the day that we honor all of the dedicated mental health professionals that help light the path to joy in the Black community. But today, here we are once again to talk, share, educate, and inspire with a focus on the mental health of our Black youth. We've curated relevant and compelling fireside chats and thought-provoking panel discussions with numerous esteemed guests. This is a unique opportunity to give gratitude, to educate our community, and to hold up, understand, and empower our youth. We continue to further our mission to break the silence and the cycle around mental health stigma in the Black community in revolutionary ways. Founded in 2018 by Taraji P. Henson, the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation turns 5 this year. Take a look at some of our accomplishments to date.
It's all right to be angry, but we are going to take our anger and our indignation and turn it into energy.
So the message that is being conveyed to the African American community is just that my Blackness is a threat.
Now she's tackling a very emotional issue off screen, supporting the mental health of African American teens.
And Taraji is determined to change that. Last year, she launched the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation, named after her father, a Vietnam vet who himself struggled with PTSD and depression.
Our vision is to eradicate the stigma around mental health in the Black community by breaking the silence and breaking a cycle of shame.
When it was time for me to seek help for myself and my son, looking for a Black therapist was like looking for a unicorn. We have to do something about this. I am here out of necessity. I founded this foundation because there was a problem.
This is a national crisis.
African Americans are dying at higher rates than any other racial group from coronavirus.
43% of the people who have died were African Americans. These are alarming numbers.
We're opening up this conversation so that we can heal and stop creating generational trauma.
Henson is working to help others struggling with mental health issues, especially young children.
It's been an honor to have received this scholarship award.
Honestly, the scholarship has just been God sent.
Thank you for all you do, and thank you for what you will do.
Why do they feel like it's such a stigma in our community to go seek professional help?
We've been demonized. for having issues and challenges. And so it's been hard for us to step up and say, I need help.
What are the biggest challenges that the foundation is trying to meet right now?
Get men to come into the room and,
that's real.
and talk about it.
And it's because they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they can.
This is something I'm really passionate about. This is something that is a necessity for me. And so we have to break this cycle of keeping our mouths closed. I want people to know that it is okay to seek help for mental health. There is nothing wrong with it.
Congratulations, BLHF. Keep up the great work. This year, as mentioned, we are shining a spotlight on Black youth and mental health, our hopeful future. Presenting For Us by Us, where college and high school students share what's on their minds regarding their mental health, what they are doing to self-advocate and self-care, and what they need from us. They are so authentic and brave. Let's watch together.
Welcome to the 2023 Can We Talk Symposium and Joy Awards presented by the Boris L. Henson Foundation. My name is Dr. Christopher Warren, Senior Director of Work-Based Learning and Partnerships for the Propel Center, the leading arm of student development for all HBCUs across this country. We're here today to talk real business. Our college students, our COVID babies, have been suffering silently with a lack of mental health resources and without true, authentic engagement on their campuses. So we want to today give them an opportunity to speak their truth and talk about the things that they would like to see done that will help them to be able to move forward as early career professionals. I want to start out to my left and let you lovely people introduce yourselves.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Reva Cordes, a first-generation college graduate from the illustrious Parkland University, majoring in psychology.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mariah Young. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I graduated already from Parkland University with a degree in psychology.
Hi, guys. I'm Bria Johnson from Clark Atlanta University. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and my major is mass media arts.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isaiah Smith. I graduated from Morehouse College. I'm a sociology and communications double major from the Bronx, New York.
All right. You know what I love to hear as they introduce themselves? Graduates. We send our babies to HBCUs to graduate. So you all had a complete experience. So can you talk about some of the mental health challenges you faced while you were on campus and matriculated with your major?
Okay, I'll go first. I feel like with class of 23, a lot of people didn't really acknowledge that we were the COVID class. Like, we came in, we had like a couple of months on campus and then it stopped. So you went home, you got accustomed to like being around friends, being on campus. And then it kind of went back to communities that a lot of people were probably trying to get out of. So I feel like one of the challenges for me personally was hyper independence. I'm a first gen, so I didn't really have that safety net, I'd say, from back home in terms of like people to go to speak about where I should be interning, how I should conduct a resume, how I should be conducting myself in professional spaces. And it kind of like leaves you in a state of like, all right, I got to do this on my own. But your mind will really play tricks on you. Like, you have those resources, you have community, but from the mental health aspect, it doesn't feel that way. So I say that was one of my challenges, just feeling like I was alone, feeling like I had to navigate the college space by myself.
Challenges for me regarding our mental health throughout my matriculation, I would say defining balancement and figuring out what that means for me. Balancing work life, school life with my personal life, like Reba said, being taken out of something that was a whole new world, a college experience, and then having to go back home was a big culture shock. And it took, I would say, a great toll on me mentally.
Well, for me, it was more so like she said, my personal life. Personal lives be personal life. And so I had my time this year specifically, like I ended up getting pregnant, and then 2 weeks later I found out my grandma passed away back home. So it was a lot for me because life doesn't stop. My classes doesn't stop. Going to class does not stop. So it was hard to keep going because I just wanted to lay in my bed and just cry all day, you know, and I couldn't because I had to keep going and trying to graduate, you know. I have a mission, so stopping isn't a choice, but it's not that easy for a lot of other people. Other people end up like actually leaving school, dropping out of school, you know. And I was fortunate enough to be able to get through it, but, you know, it's not like that for everyone.
Yeah, so me personally, I had a similar experience. Like, a lot of this stuff just started happening this year, like this school year, like this academic school year, like last semester, I almost like dropped out 6 months before school was over just because of like mental health. I did experience like 2 deaths in my family. One of my cousins was like in a coma and passed away. And then another cousin was like a drug overdose and passed away. And then I experienced the death of a friend also. So it was just a lot going on. And it's kind of hard to like take a step back and like just breathe when you do have to do internships and you do have to go to class because you are a first generation college student. And there's that pressure on you from your family to do well, make sure you finish, you know? And so, that's something I definitely have faced. And also, I'll say that last question. Yeah.
And to also, piggyback off of that, I feel like it just puts you in like a fast state of mind. Like every day is just going fast. Like things just coming left and right, and like you just gotta take it in and keep going. But what does that do like to your mental health? You kind of like normalize traumatic experience. You normalize like not tending to your emotions. Mm-hmm. But what does that do to your mind?
And that's powerful. I don't want you to move past that because we actually had 3 definable mental health traits right here. We heard anxiety, not getting off the couch. That's one of the traits of depression. We've got grieving. These are all real things that people have to deal with. And you were saying you started to normalize just getting up and going through life without actually addressing those things. That world won't wait kind of mentality. So with that in mind, what did you do to handle those situations? Besides just saying, well, you know, I kept it moving, I kept it strong. What did you actually do like on a day-to-day or sometimes hour by hour or minute by minute basis to keep yourself going? Because clearly you graduated. You made it happen. So what was it that you were able to do to help you get over that hump or get through it?
I can go. I definitely did a lot of isolation from just like friends, from my family, like my phone, just like me on my own. Also, this is not the best way, but I was also started drinking. So I did start drinking a lot. And that was just a way for like me to feel a little bit loose, a little bit like to forget about it for a little while. So like, that started getting a little bit out of control for what I like. And then I started going to a therapist. Well, I tried to go to a therapist. And what happened was when I got to the therapist at my school, he wasn't very receptive of like what I was saying to him. It was kind of like, well, everybody's going through this and move along. She's like, well, if this isn't like, if you're not about to have an emergency, like he basically said, if you're not about to end your life, come back like another time. Like I can't deal with you right now. And so it just was just like I'm still recovering from like the last year. Like right now, this is my first called my mom and said like, I'm not stressed about anything right now. Like it's so weird. Like it feels like a little bit weird to just wake up and you're just like, well, like you know,
we all right today.
Yeah. We all right today? It's always like, so that's how I've been dealing with it. I know I'm trying to find healthier ways to deal with it, but we're gonna see where that goes. So work in progress.
Thank you.
For me, I'm like a skincare person. Now I am. I just got into the mindset of like, if you feel good, you do good. Like if you look good, you just do better. So I just started like tending to myself more. Like as he said, like isolation. I don't really look at it as isolation. I kind of thrive when I'm by myself, and like I just have time and space to think and like do and act and not really have to worry about like what the outside world got going on. So just taking more time for myself, just investing into my skin, investing into my body, like monitoring the things I eat, the music I'm listening to, the TV shows I'm digesting, like things like that, because they all really do have an impact on how you think, how you're going about the world. Like if you listening to like, no offense to ESTG, but if you're listening to him like 24/7 a day, like you just aggressive, you rough, but like it puts you in a mind frame of like feeling like you have to be like that all the time. And it's not really like that. So just like really paying attention and being, what's the word? Mindful and like intentional with the things that I'm digesting and like what I'm indulging in. Because if you're not, you'll catch yourself just like drifting away. Like you're already in that mind state, you're already going through things, but you're not mindful of like of what you're going through and doing that necessary introspection, and it's gonna get worse. So just being mindful and like intentional.
Personally, I'm really big on self-care, like making sure I'm doing grounding exercises, whether that's breathing, like simply just taking time to be like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 things I see, 4 things I smell, things like that, like being aware of your...
Don't go past that. That was good.
So,
give us your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So 5 things you see. So now I'm in studio, I see beautiful Black people, I see a blue suit, a tan shirt, 4 things you smell, 3 things that you hear, 2 things that you can feel. What's the other thing? Taste. 1 thing you do taste. Yeah. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's really good for grounding.
Where did you learn it?
I learned it through my internship, actually, through Me Too International. Yes. We also learned about sanctuary plans, which was very, very helpful. So first you start by recognizing your triggers. Like, what is my body? How does my body tell me that I'm triggered right now or that I need assistance? Like, do your hands start sweating? Do you feel like nervous? Things of that sort. And then who can I contact? So the person that you contact in times of need may not always be the person that's closest to you. Like, if you're a person who talks to your mom a lot and she's the person who freaks out when you're freaked out, then she might not be the best person to ever to contact. You would add like a friend, maybe your sister, your sibling, something of that sort. Then you would say like things that help you calm down. So for me, it's doing yoga, dancing, cooking, writing poetry. And then you write 3 affirmations that help you in your time of like anxiety or stress that ground you and make you feel good.
So it sounds like you actually received some training in mindfulness, right? And so that speaks to where we're going next. So,
so like he said, isolation was a big part of healing and trying to feel better about everything that I was going through. But after the isolation, because the isolation part was not good at all. After that, I think talking to someone, my dad is my best friend, and I talked to him about everything. So I was able to let him know how I was feeling. And he's the type of dad that rubbed me on my back and like, well, what's going on right now. And now you have to accept it and carry on with it. Like understand that it is what it is at this point. All you can do is like be better at this point. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, my dad is one person who helped me just because, I don't know, he's been my rock since forever. So I was able to talk to him about it. And that's pretty much it for me talking to my dad. I don't know what I'm going to do.
No, that's fine. Look, I was letting you go because shout out to Real Black Daddies. You see what you mean to your children, right? This is very powerful, very, very powerful. And what I heard was leading me to this next question. And this is where I really would like for you to be as honest and authentic as possible. And what are some of the resources? Because you mentioned you went on campus, right? So we're not trying to knock the campus counselors, because a lot of times they're super short staffed, right? Most campuses will have 1, maybe 2 counselors, and most HBCUs have at least 8,000 to 10,000 students. And then some of the larger ones, the Howard, the FAMUs have 11, 12, 13, 14,000 students, and your counseling center has 2, 3 counselors, right? So a lot of times they can be extremely overwhelmed. But with that in mind, best case scenario, in a dream world, like you were able to get that training via internship, so you know what you're looking for. You know what you're looking for. What are some resources that you could snap your fingers and they would appear at HBCUs across the country for students like you?
So I'm gonna start. I actually got 3. So I say somatic therapy, just because like a lot of the times people tell people to go to therapy, but like if we looking at like the Black experience in this world, just Black families in general, like it's not normal for you to just go to a stranger and tell them your business, like tell them like everything you're going through and just like worry about it. That's not normal. But I feel like somatic therapy, it takes a different approach, like releasing tension, addressing trauma. It's like bringing up memories that, like she said, trigger you, and then like paying attention to those emotions that arise when you think of those memories. 2, music therapy. A lot of us like rely on music. I'm pretty sure everybody in this room, when we having a bad day, like we put on a good song, it could change our whole mood. So like just investing into different things that aren't the traditional way of addressing like mental health issues. And also like, I wish HBCUs had like family programs where you could have like your family come out here for like a weekend, just visit you on campus and stuff. Because I don't know for everybody else, but my mom, my sisters, my best friends back home in Brooklyn, they ground me, bro. I see them and all worries go out the window because I know like these are the people, like they got me 100%. I could go to them, I could cry, I could do whatever, and they're there. So programs like that, like just, I don't know.
I think that mental health week is important. Like maybe our schools can take a week and give it to their students. And this is a free week. You worry about everything you have going on at the moment, and you just worry about that. You don't worry about school right now because school is gonna be back in session soon anyway. So you know what I'm saying? Like, just take this week and take a breather and just do things that make you happy.
I think you guys really pretty much summarized it up, but I also like to add it. Maybe the schools and like the people who make the decisions, like with money specifically, should allocate more money towards those things. So we won't have two counselors for 4,000 students, and so there's just so like I guess it's done.
Because like if you look at it, I feel like schools have to know, like when you accept the students, you know which demographic, you know where students are coming from, you know which communities they're coming from. So you know, like, okay, we got a lot of students from lower income areas. Most likely those students have dealt with a lot of things
a lot of trauma.
Yeah, so like you just gotta tend to, and I get it, it's institutions, so you can't tend to every single student, but on a larger scale, like he said, just investing more into those like mental health resources, the counselors and stuff, because you can't have 2,000 to 4,000 and expect every student to say like, okay, the counselor's great, because that's not going to happen, right? If people just, put more emphasis on that.
This is all very powerful, specifically because of what you said when we first started. Y'all are the COVID babies, right? And from you all, and even a few years back, the ones that didn't get their senior year, didn't get their prom, that didn't get their graduation or their freshman year in college, they didn't get it because they couldn't go on campus. Or for you guys, you were on campus and then had to leave and figure everything out and completely pivot and readjust every part of your life. So I don't think it's too much to ask for there to be a renewed focus on those things. I don't think that you should feel like, you're downing the efforts, right? You just have to let it be known. And that's why we're here. We adults can say things all day, every day, but you're the students. You had to live it. And it's not like, you failed, you succeeded and you thrived through it all. But now we expect you to go into someone's workplace and be functional. And right? And act like none of these things happen. And that's where it begins to affect the bottom line. So I think it's totally apropos to look at corporate America and say, hey, you should be investing in different mental health strategies for these HBCU students so that when they come to you, they don't come to you traumatized or come to you so worn out from everything that they experienced during their collegiate experience that they can't operate for you, as an early career professional. So I'm very, very thankful, always humbled to hear the voice of young people. It's the most powerful voice. You all did things that I can't imagine doing. And I went to Florida A&M University in the 1900s, as you all like to say. And, I can't imagine having to deal with a lot of the things that you all are dealing with now. So I appreciate you not only surviving, but thriving. And being a part of this where you're talking about solutions. You're not just crying or whining or pointing fingers and blaming or staying and living in your trauma. You're saying, I'm going to find a way, right? That is one thing. Sometimes your strength and your willingness to keep going makes people think you don't need help. So that's why we wanted you here to say, no, we made it. But we could have made it, if we had these resources. So it's too late for you, or you've already made it, but these things that you're saying can deeply impact all of the underclassmen behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed our fireside chat. The Can We Talk Symposium continues.
Hey, has anyone told you you're amazing today? Well, let me tell you, you are amazing. Always have been and always will. Keep shining.
Hey, you. What's up? Just sending you some encouragement, reminding you that there will be ups and there will be downs for all of us. So make sure you ride the waves, take the breaks when you need to, and remember to ask for help. I know I did, and I'm glad I did more than a few times. And you will be glad to. So don't forget, be encouraged and stay up. Peace.
Thank you to our young people for having these difficult yet important conversations with each other. We applaud your vulnerability, and we hope that this encourages other youth to do the same. In your own time, in your own way. Now, let's take a look at the 2023 Top 100 Joy Awards finalists.
Presenting our 2023 Joy Award top finalists in all categories. These categories include licensed mental health professionals, advocates, certified integrative wellness practitioners, and our all-new youth category. Applications and nominations were narrowed down from a tight field of hundreds. They were then reviewed and selected by a panel of experts, including thought leaders, clinical advisors, and board members. Thank you for your dedicated work and commitment to eradicating the silence and the stigma in our communities. We can't do this work without you. Once again, congratulations.
Realize joy, actualize joy.
Social media and technology have become significant factors in our lives that shape our culture, transform how we live, and beyond. And it's here to stay, no doubt. This is such an important topic as we look at the state of current and future mental health concerns. Our next panel discussion is led by Dr. Kaya Connor, Associate Professor in the Department of Mental Health Law and Policy at the University of South Florida. Dr. Kaya also serves as the Interim Clinical Director and Coordinator of BLHF's Provider Training and Outreach. She'll be conversing with clinical psychologist Dr. Vivid and founder and CEO of Jubilee Incorporated, Dr. Sorrell Robertson. They are offering some great tools. You don't want to miss this.
Hello and welcome. I'm so excited about this conversation today and really excited to introduce my guests. My first guest for today is Dr. Ashley Elliott, affectionately known as Dr. Vivid of Vivid Innovations Consulting, LLC. Vivid has been providing wellness services in the DC metropolitan area for over 10 years. She has a global reach through positive social media with her podcast, Vividly Speaking with Dr. Vivid. And her mission is to empower, encourage, and enlighten by spreading a message that emphasizes the importance of mental health and wellness. So welcome, Dr. Vivid.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Dr. Kai.
Absolutely. And our second guest is Dr. Sorrel Robertson, the founder of Jubilee web and mobile app. Jubilee is a platform and network that aims to increase equitable access to healthcare, ultimately focused on improving the outcomes for marginalized and underserved groups while providing online communities of peer support, especially for Black, Indigenous people of color, and LGBTQIA plus communities. So Vivid and Sorrel, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about an issue that is complicated. We can look at the trajectory of social media and its usage, and as that rises, we also can note the escalation in youth issues of depression, anxiety, feelings of being lonely and isolated. But there's two sides to this, right? Because social media was also one of the biggest parts of what kept young people feeling connected to each other during the pandemic. And digital platforms replaced, in many ways, traditional classrooms and helped to fuel learning during that time. Post-COVID, the data and what we're seeing clinically tells a complex story. It's definitely a conundrum. So today, let's explore some of the benefits, but also what to watch out for. So Vivid, let's start with you. You have mastered the balance of mental health connections in music, pop culture, our cultures, and daily living through your positive presence on social media. In your personal and clinical experience, exactly how has social media impacted our youth in a positive way?
Oh, well, social media, especially during the pandemic, has given our youth the chance to connect with people that they didn't have the opportunity to, whether it because these people are across the world, across the globe, or I didn't have the resources to chime in and connect with them. So look at these friends that I'm having. Also, representation. There are so many underserved communities that don't have access to certain entertainment value, certain tools and resources. And social media has become this great toolbox for youth to be able to tap in things that aren't readily available in their communities through the global community. And it's just so amazing to see. And it also has provided many of our youth with the chance to really get their creative juices flowing. I remember a time where I was just recording videos in my room and just joking about it with my cousins. And now you can record a video and all your internet cousins can join in on the fun and the positivity. So it is creating a sense of belonging, a sense of community, and a sense of I can research and find things on my own beyond a book, a classroom. It's so great.
Wow, absolutely. I love that you talked about that importance of being able to be connected to a global community, right? And having access to resources that we might not have readily available in our own communities. And the other exciting piece about that ability for creative expression that's really become booming right now. So that was a lot of positive things. But Sorrel, let's move to you and talk about the other side of this, because you've worked extensively with psychoeducational and neuropsychological evaluations and therapy at Summit Center for Children and Adolescents and with adults. And you've really specialized in ages K through 12. And as we mentioned earlier, created your own digital platform. So let's look at the opposite effect on our youth. What do you think are some of the primary negative impacts of this boom in social media?
Yes. Well, first, thank you for having me, Dr. Kaya. I'm happy to join the conversation. This is such a timely and important topic right now. As you mentioned, right, I work primarily with young people, both in private practice and as a school psychologist as well, right? And I know firsthand, right, how social media often exacerbates pre-existing mental health issues for young people who may suffer from anxiety, depression, body dysmorphia, right, suicide ideation, loneliness, and a number of other presenting problems. All too often, the approach to teenage social media use is oftentimes haphazard, sometimes thoughtless, and usually complicated by the fact that some believe social media is a remedy for social isolation, when in fact we know that there was a recent study by the University of Pittsburgh that found that teens who use social media heavily are 3 times as likely to feel socially isolated. So technology has also made content that used to exist only in print subscriptions, right, like Teen Vogue, right, much more accessible. And we know that a growing number of influencers are distributing hashtag body goals that are oftentimes toxic, unrealistic, right? We know Facebook recently came under fire for ignoring evidence that Instagram harms young girls' mental health and perceptions of their body image, right? Mm-hmm. So this effect may be compounded, especially for young Black females, right? Young Black women in particular, who often also struggle with not seeing themselves reflected and broadly accepted in mainstream media, right? Another study done at Yale School of Medicine also found that Black teen girls using platforms like Twitter and Snapchat to navigate dating often experience racism and bias, such as being associated with stereotypes, right? Cultural invalidation, and oftentimes being accused of, quote unquote, acting white. So many Black teen girls also believe that their hair type, for example, or skin tone may not be valued because of these mainstream narratives that perpetuate white and normative beauty standards. So coupled with the fact that unrealistic standards of beauty, for example, are marketed as wellness, right? It's no wonder teens are experiencing adverse effects.
Wow. That was a lot of important and critical information that you provided us, and really does show the other side to this issue. And it really is, as we mentioned earlier, this kind of conundrum, because as you said, there were a lot of people sort of identifying social media as this remedy for social isolation. And then on the other hand, we're hearing these messages that it's actually contributing to social isolation. In May of this year, the US Surgeon General sort of raised an alarm on this, speaking of this new pandemic in America, stating that the impact of loneliness and isolation on personal and public health can be just as detrimental as other physical issues like smoking and obesity. So really, how do social media and digital technology contribute to loneliness and isolation? Cyril, we've heard some of your thoughts. Vivid, wondering your thoughts on how Black youth may in fact be particularly vulnerable to this. What are some ways that social media and technology can complicate mental health challenges among young Black people?
Absolutely. As Dr. Robertson was saying, we definitely have data that talks about how the effects of colorism in social media, body typing, and also there is a large amount of media that is strictly for entertainment and gossip value that is targeted towards Black youth, because they want consumer information. They want to be able to say, hey, this is our target demographic. This is what we want to sell to. We want to be able to sell these clothes, sell this lifestyle, and get them to jump at these influencers so these influencers could get paid. So when we talk about young Black youth, we're often faced with underserved populations when it comes to our mental health and emotional wellness needs. So if I'm looking on Instagram or Snapchat and all I'm seeing is body goals, and there are these specific young women who are displayed, and I'm being told that I have to look like this, and I don't have any emotional or social emotional resources to give me the other side of that conversation or to pour into me, I am now a little bit more vulnerable for things that affect my self-esteem and my confidence, and I'm more at risk for depressive symptoms or even anxiety-related symptoms. And then you have certain things that are targeted towards, I'll say specifically our Black men, our Black young boys, that, again, entertainment value. It's a lot of consumer shoes, clothes. Of course, we love listening to our favorite artists, but what about images of I can do things outside of these entertainment slots? I can pursue STEM-related things or art-related things, nature and therapeutic-related things. But what you see is many of the companies that are getting partnerships with these social media platforms looking at it from consumer money selling and not the wellness of the consumer, especially for the younger folk. And then we have other things that are definitely still being used in the marketing arena when it comes to things like vaping, when it comes to drinking certain alcoholic beverages. They are disproportionately marketed to Black youth. And if you have Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok, recording how you interact and engage on a platform, this is the thing. Your algorithm is going to give you more of that negative entertainment value. And what you have is more children, more youth being exposed to the negative side as opposed to the other things that their non-Black peers are getting on their feeds.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. Those algorithms and just thinking about the power of sort of our capitalist society marketing, what our young people are being exposed to, and that our young Black youth are being targeted in a way and being exposed to a lot of negative messaging that has an impact on their mental health and wellness. Wow. Thank you for that. So, Sorel, thinking about this and in your experience as a clinician, what do you think the majority of therapists, how are they dealing with the Council of Mental Welfare regarding the impact of social media and technology and these increases in isolation and social, and among our young people?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So we know that COVID-19 triggered an increase in depression and anxiety symptoms by about 25%. So I know mental health providers, speaking for myself, colleagues, we've seen the increase, right, in referrals and in office appointments. So I think most therapists are working to treat symptoms of depression and anxiety, right, body dysmorphia, sometimes even suicide ideation and loneliness, again, that are oftentimes exacerbated by social media and sometimes even caused by social media. So I can give you an anecdote. I have a young Black male client that I work with who's suffering from depression, loneliness, and he, has a bit of a warped view of women and masculinity, and it's multi-layered, many different reasons, all largely due to what, he's consumed on YouTube and the channels that he watches that perpetuate a lot of toxic ideologies about what it means to be a man. So I see him grappling with kind of what he's consumed and internalized. So now I'm stepping in, right, to help him unlearn those pretty entrenched ideologies about himself and the world around him. So, in addition to, yes, treating the anxiety, depression symptoms as well, we also now, are working towards helping to unlearn a lot of the messaging that's been internalized by what, youth and teens, children are consuming and viewing on social media as well.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple follow-ups for you, because obviously when we're thinking about therapy and treating our young people, we're not doing that in a vacuum or alone. It takes a village, right? And so we've got a lot of parents, guardians, grandparents out there who are raising our young people and aren't sure what they should be doing about some of these issues. I'm sure that you get these questions in your practice. So I wonder, what advice would you give to parents, guardians about things like screen time limits or balancing social media with real life social interaction?
Yes, this is by far one of the most common questions that I get from parents, especially of younger children who, are figuring out screen time boundaries, right? How much screen time is too much screen time is a common question that I oftentimes get. So I oftentimes talk about monitoring social media in the same way that we talk about monitoring our consumption of sugar, for example, right? So everything in moderation. There really is no one size fits all recommendation for all families. It depends on so many factors, right? Your family values, how much time, right, and attention, right? Do both parents work, right? So again, no one size fits all, but limiting it to a reasonable amount of time after homework is done, perhaps, right? So helping your kiddo hold off until, to delay the gratification of the social media as long as they can until after they complete their work or their homework, or perhaps only, limiting social media to weekends, right, for 1 hour, or sometimes my usual recommendations. But again, it really does depend on the family and other factors. Common Sense Media is a really great resource that I oftentimes share with parents that, really does provide a lot of detailed recommendations for parents. Right. So we know in one sitting on social media, you can see death, right? Something funny, you can see something sad, you can see something hilarious, something that inspires you, right? All within the span of 1 minute scrolling up and down TikTok or Instagram. That is not healthy, right? The human brain, especially for children and adolescents, are not meant to switch emotions 10 to 12 times within a 3-minute time span. So it really is information and emotional overload without having time to process each emotion. So to help children deal with the impacts of that, I oftentimes encourage parents to step in, monitor their children's or their child's social media accounts and the pages that they follow, right? And I oftentimes encourage parents to feed their children positivity away from screens so that their children feel heard, seen, and validated.
Those are really, really great suggestions. And I also love what you said about there's no sort of one size fits all approach, because I think so often, people are looking for really specific guidelines and that there's just a one solution for everything. And often there isn't, right? Every family is different. Every family has different structure, value systems, opportunities to engage with their kids. So really figuring out what works for each family and doing what parents and guardians can to really try to stay engaged and know more about what it is that their young people are watching and engaging with on social media so that they can protect them in many senses and create some of those additional boundaries. I think those are really, really great points. And I guess a follow-up question to that might be, obviously we could talk about the fact that there are certain healthy usages, right, of social media. But you've also talked about in your own experience and clinical practice that you have seen young people coming to you where their mental health concerns have been exacerbated by their social media use. So what are some warning signs or some things that parents and guardians could be looking out for that might suggest that their loved young one is spending too much time online in general? And that could be social media, but also things like online gaming and other kinds of social content.
Absolutely. So some of the things that I tend to share, right, signs and symptoms to look for, right, is their attention in real life decreasing, right? Is it impacting school, like sports, right, at home while they're doing homework? Is it harder for them to kind of stay tuned in, right, and to stay engaged in the work that they're doing? Are you noticing a sudden drop in their grades, right? Their GPA, right? At school, their performance overall? Are you noticing any increased isolation from peers or from the family, right? Any increased irritability beyond the norm of kind of normal teenage irritability? So we know, for example, with clinical depression, right, irritability is actually, a very specific feature of depression that isn't oftentimes what we see among adults who suffer from depression, right? Sleep, right? Are they lacking sleep or are they sleeping in too much, right? Also, is there a sudden lack of interest in activities that they used to really be interested in? So those are some of the general things that families, parents, guardians, caregivers can look for.
That's great. That's such helpful advice. And I appreciate too what you said about our recognition that the symptoms that we may typically associate with a mental health condition in adults may not present themselves that same way in young people. And that irritability piece is really important. How many times do we hear parents complaining about the irritability of their kid, not maybe recognizing that it could be attributed to something else that might be going on that deserves clinical attention? So I hope that parents will really take heed to what you've said there and look into how that may be impacting their child. So, okay, we've talked a lot about some of the dangers, the challenges, and, what you're seeing clinically, and also ways that we can get involved in helping to monitor and create some boundaries to ensure healthy utilization of technology and social media. And Vivid, we also know that you mentioned earlier sort of this creativity, right? It's really important to let young people represent themselves creatively and freely. And social media is allowing a lot of avenues to do that. So what advice can you give to parents and guardians out there, relative to best practices for monitoring their young person's activities, but while still allowing them that personal expression and interaction?
Oh, my goodness. It's engagement. One of the things that I love talking about in client sessions and even with my own children is what is on your For You page? What's going on? What's speaking to you? What's giving you joy? What's really making you feel like, I could do that? Because you're not just getting the whiff of this is what they're looking on online. This is what they're interested in right now. And it creates more conversations within the household, rather than having one conversation about how long have you been on that iPad? How long have you been on that phone? You know, what's so intriguing about this artist? Oh, you love some Ice Spice, girl. How many videos have you watched? And what is the music doing to your spirit? Why do you connect with this person so much? How many videos have you been watching about, you know, young creators and young entrepreneurs, and what makes them so relatable and makes you feel like I can do this too? What's empowering you? Always have a conversation about the why and not just the what they're doing. Because it also creates more avenue for them to get off of the social media and their technological devices to explore other options or have conversations at home or in school in their community about how can I create this creative stew, this gumbo that we can feed each other and continue to give ourselves joy. Also, be mindful that if they're creating and they're wanting to post, get in there. Come on, mom, dad, caregivers, help be the producers, help write the scripts, help be a part of the cast, and give them the chance to see that this is something that my family supports. I love seeing videos from my clients and they're like, this is what my mom helped me do. This is what my cousin helped me do, because that shows that you believe in something that they're interested in. And they'll be more likely to let you in and have really open and honest conversations about how they're using this and why. And my favorite thing to talk about with parents and their children, their caregivers and their children, is do a social media audit. Talk about the things that you feel are positive. Talk to them about the creators that are like, oh, they're cringy, I don't really like them, and why. And monthly, delete those accounts, unfollow those people, and even block the things in your settings that you feel aren't giving you joy, aren't making you feel like, hey, I'm being seen. And speaking of seen, remember, for our little Black boys, girls, you are contributing to representation, which really matters when you're posting these things, when you're engaging with your family, and you're putting out the content that some of us are really longing for.
Wow. I love so much about what you just said. I really also, I'd never thought about that before, but the focus on the why and not just the what. You know, why are our young people so drawn to certain things? And how can we then use that as a way to better engage and be more involved with our young person and become a part of that process with them so that they can then contribute to the sharing of positive messages on social media? That's amazing. And you gave a lot of really great tips for how to like safely nurture a budding social media or digital app entrepreneur, which is great. Okay, well, so now I'd like to ask you both, and Vivid, we'll start with you, to just for a moment speak candidly and directly to our young people. What advice would you give them right now about social media and technology? You could speak to the dangers and or the benefits of responsible use, but what would you say to them if you could talk to them?
When it comes to content that you're consuming, think of it like food. If it's making you feel good, we want to really sit in that. But if it's making you feel uncomfortable, if it's making you feel like you don't know if this is something that you should be really taking in, you have the awareness and you have the ability to say, this isn't for me. If anything occurs that you feel isn't aligning with your values, your beliefs, it's okay to distance yourself from that, even if other people are interested in it. Your safety is the most important thing. We love to have fun, but your safety is what matters. And if something is making you feel unsafe or insecure or uncomfortable, please blast it with the community and blast it within your parents' community, blast it within your tribe's community, because we want to make sure that you're getting the best experience possible. We don't want to gatekeep. We just want to make sure that the gate is secure enough for you to open it and close it when you feel it's best for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vivid. And Sorrel, your words directly to our Black youth.
Absolutely. Similar to Vivid, I think we're on the same page here. Be mindful of how much you consume and the type of content you're consuming. Pay attention to the thoughts that pop into your head and your inner dialogue with yourself as you're scrolling through social media. If you're noticing you're becoming really critical of yourself, or maybe even comparing yourself to others, it's time to take a break and even go through, like Vivid mentioned, and remove some of the accounts and influencers that you're following, right? Use timers to help you limit how much time you're spending on each app. I use the timers for myself, right? Be sure to follow uplifting content, right? We the Urban is one of my favorites. And of course, a shameless plug for Jubilee, right? Where we also provide positive mental health messages for our community.
Right. Well, this was a wonderful conversation. I learned a lot, and I'm sure that others watching are going to learn so much from both of you. So thank you for your time today. We are so grateful to you both for your work in social media and technology space, as well as for your culturally competent care of Black youth in our community. So it was a pleasure talking to you both today. Thank you so much for joining us.
They were amazing, right? I told you. Thank you again so much to Dr. Kaya, Dr. Vivid, and Dr. Robertson. We could not have done this conversation without hearing your voices at the helm. So thank you for that. Now, be reminded that the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation takes pride in investing in our community. Nurturing our young adults is a top priority, and building a pipeline for aspiring mental health professionals is essential.
My name is Dr. Kaya Connor. I am the interim clinical director and the provider training and outreach coordinator for the Boris L. Henson Foundation. Mental health challenges are common and impact many of us in the Black community. However, African Americans are the least likely to seek treatment for many reasons, but one major problem is the lack of diversity in healthcare. Studies show that the psychology workforce is 85% white and only 2% Black. These numbers can be daunting and often deter Black people from seeking care due to the lack of Black providers. We may also lack trust in sharing our experiences out of fear of being misdiagnosed or labeled as inadequate or weak. This lack of representation in the mental health field can make it hard for those seeking a therapist to find the help that they need when they need it. Another challenge is that not all clinicians are trained to be aware or curious about how culture and race and ethnicity impact a person's mental and emotional well-being. Our goal is to increase the number of culturally competent therapists by offering scholarships to African Americans who are interested in pursuing a career in the mental health field. Investing in our community and nurturing our young adults is a top priority. The donations that we receive allow us to provide academic opportunities and serve as a vital resource to empower African American students pursuing careers in the mental health field with their educational expenses. Both our legacy and heritage scholarships will ensure an impact on generations to come and can be named annually or in perpetuity. Our annual legacy scholarship is $10,000, and our heritage scholarship, which is endowed, at $500,000. If you want to apply, you can send an email inquiry to scholarship@borislhensonfoundation.org. And if you want to donate, you can text scholarship to 707070. We hope that you'll partner with us on this great effort to enhance the diversity of our mental health workforce and continue to provide great service to the Black community.
Hi, my name is Karen Joubert, and I am honored to have been selected as a recipient of the Boris L. Henson Foundation Mental Health Scholarship Award. I am currently a licensed professional counselor supervisor working as a clinician in a university counseling center. And I also facilitate mental health support groups with a local nonprofit organization. The cost of education is high, and I'm thankful for this opportunity because it helps overcome a financial barrier towards supporting our Black African American community. So thank you, Boris L. Henson Foundation, for this scholarship award. And again, I feel so honored to be a recipient.
Hi there, my name is Andrea Connell, and I am a clinical psychology doctoral student studying at Capella University, and I am a two-time award recipient of the Boris L. Henson Foundation Scholarship. So I'm forever grateful and thankful to the organization, as well as to Taraji, for having such an opportunity for people of color to apply for a scholarship that continue to push in the academic sense of studying in the field of mental health, and also professionally in the field once we have completed our journey. As a doctoral student, you really lose a lot of time, but for a great purpose, to be able to be a pillar in the community advocating for mental health. So I am forever thankful. This scholarship has given so much to me beyond just a financial aspect, and I want to thank the organization and encourage you to apply if you come across the application. Thank you once again.
Our championed integrative wellness providers are here now to share a little bit of joy with you today. It's time for a joy break with our joy salons. At BLHF, the modalities of integrative wellness are key components to total mind-body connection care. We encourage you to make daily investments into your very own joy account. Make it a priority every single day. The dividends are worth it. Always remember to pour back in that which you pour out. Our joy salons today feature a chair yoga routine that will feel good to every single body. And you don't even have to get up out of your chair to feel great. Or you can just close your eyes and reset to the proven benefits of sound therapy with singing bowls. If perfect silence is what you are craving for an escape, we also have a guided meditation. Even more importantly, please give it a try on your own tomorrow. And remember, you can tune in to our website to find information on how to watch all 3 Joy Salons. The Joy Salons are open now. Enjoy, and we'll meet back here shortly.
Realize joy, actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize joy. joy. Actualize joy. Realize joy. Actualize joy. Realize joy. Actualize Realize joy. Actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize realize joy, actualize
How many times have you been called a weirdo, different, strange? Well, being different is actually a superpower. I've been called all of those things all my life, and I think it's turned out all right. All right, keep going. I see you.
BLHF's Let's Talk resource guide is available on our website if you're in need of support. Sign up for our newsletter to stay in touch while you're there. If you're a mental health provider or integrated wellness practitioner and would like to become a member, sign up at resourceguide.BorisLHensonFoundation.org.
And now we have 3 compelling fireside chats for you. Yes, this means we've got some really good, candid conversations for you. Our topics are poignant, relevant, unfiltered, and authentic. You can choose to explore the unspoken curriculum, racism, and bias in education systems with BLHF Executive Director Tracy Jade, conversing with Sandy Logan, principal of Duke Ellington School of the Arts, Dr. Oshan Gadsden, Chair of Psychology at Hampton University, and Dr. David Johns, Executive Director of the National Black Justice Coalition. Or join a heartfelt conversation about parental challenges and hope from two mothers of children with autism, BLHF Board Chair and Director of Education at the Kennedy Center, Jeanette McCune, engaged in conversation with special guest and fellow parent Dawn Allen, co-founder of the Autism Grind. The panel is The Autism Grind, Parental Coping Skills. In our third fireside chat, BLHF Director of Programs and Partnership Engagement, B. Desmond Sweet, has a joyful discussion with integrated wellness champions Marsha Banks-Harold and Ryan Mundy in the power of integrated wellness. They'll talk about the mind-body connection and self-modulation through culturally competent integrated wellness. Select the fireside chat you'd like to join. They vary in time, so feel free to move from one to another if one is complete, or visit us in our resource room for apps, information, and other tools that may be beneficial to you. We'll see you back here on the main stage soon.
Realize joy, actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize Realize joy, actualize realize joy, actualize realize joy, actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize realize joy, actualize realize joy, actualize realize joy, actualize joy. joy. Actualize joy. Realize joy. Actualize realize joy. Actualize realize joy. Actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize realize joy, actualize realize joy, actualize joy.
Welcome back. Did you enjoy the chats? If there's something you wanted to see but missed it because you were in another room, no worries. All of the content will be made available shortly after the show. Just visit the Boris L. Henson Foundation website at www.borislhensonfoundation.org or follow us on IG at BL Henson Foundation for updates. Now, let's take some time to network. If you choose this option, all you have to do is hit networking on the left side of your screen and follow the prompts. I encourage you to connect with someone that you don't know. Exchange information, collaborate. You can also check out our resource room, which is full of tools and useful information. Both rooms are open and available for you to visit now. We'll be back with more great content, and of course, we are going to announce the recipients of the 2023 Joy Awards. So be sure and stay tuned in.
Realize joy, actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize joy. Realize joy. Realize joy. Actualize Realize joy. Actualize Realize joy. Actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize joy. Realize joy, actualize
Has anyone told you you are amazing today? Well, let me be the first to tell you, even if you don't feel like it, you are amazing.
Hello and happy Black Mental Health Professionals Day. My name is Janine Liebert. I'm the Chief Social Impact and Communications Officer at BET, and I couldn't be happier to join everyone here today to congratulate and thank all of the incredible community of healers. I could not be more proud to stand in partnership with the Boris Henson Foundation and with the incredible leaders and visionaries, Tracy Jenkins and Taraji P. Henson, to celebrate all of you, everything that you do for our community, and everything you do to help us actualize joy. Thank you from all of us here at BET.
I felt I felt useless. And like nothing mattered. I still feel that way sometimes, like nothing matters. Moments where I'm supposed to feel beautiful and light and airy and confident, I just feel small and brittle and on the brink of breaking far more often than I care to admit. And I didn't always feel this way. There were times in my life where I had a full sense of abandon whenever I was dancing on stage. It was the most freeing experience, and still to this day it is, but it's become more therapy than anything else. Because I get caught up in my own head, I get caught up in my own heart, and I am unable to really find that peace within myself. Like something's always rattling in my chest. Like I can't. Like I can't take a deep breath. And I just want to scream at the top of my lungs. So then I dance. And it settles for a bit until it grows and builds up all over again. One of my biggest fears is imploding and just becoming a void. I feel like that's happened a lot in my life. I don't always feel beautiful. I don't always feel safe. I don't always feel sane. I'm not always happy. I'm not always confident. A lot of times I don't even feel like myself. But I piece myself together in a way that's attractive to everybody else. When I felt as though I was the most in love was when I felt the most dishonest with myself. Being torn down and then tearing myself down. No wonder I felt so small.
The beautiful performance we just watched is called Reflections and was choreographed and performed by dancer and mental health advocate Jessica A. Pinkett. I can feel the virtual applause lighting her up for that moving piece. Thank you, Jessica.
Our next panel discussion is moderated by Dr. Spirit, licensed therapist, owner, and founder of T2S Enterprises, a behavioral healthcare firm working to develop sustainable interventions and recovery within historically marginalized communities. Being Superhuman also features none other than our pioneering, award-winning, changing the game all the time for the good founder, Taraji P. Henson. Taraji and Spirit will be conversing with author, speaker, and licensed therapist Jay Barnett. They will explore the pressure of competition, keeping up an image, and a host of other unrealistic expectations on young people, or any of us for that matter, often directly causing self-judgment, anxiety, and loneliness in the hustle culture for success. Let's go there now and check it out.
Hello, and welcome back to our final symposium of the evening. You know we save the best for last, don't you? Although the others were quite tremendous, it's simply that I am so excited to have the opportunity to sit with these two amazing human beings. So welcome back to the Can We Talk Symposium and Joy Awards for the final time tonight, as we talk on this symposium about what it means to be superhuman, the mental health impact on young artists, scholars, advocates, and athletes. And joining me now is the very heartbeat of our organization. Please welcome Taraji P. Henson and my colleague and dear sweet friend, Mr. Jay Barnett. Hello to you guys.
Hello, how are you?
How are you doing, Dr.
So
Spirit?
great. Hey, it's so great to see you guys. I have been waiting to talk to you. And I guess let me say welcome to everybody who's joining us. And thank you all for being here with us tonight as we dive into this topic. It's definitely one where we are seeing really a slight shift in the hustle culture to messaging from industry leaders like you, Taraji, as well as former athletes and therapists like you, Jay, and of course others who are doing our very best to drive the message around self-care and preservation to audiences everywhere. You know, it's a different pressure to be great and superhuman, isn't it, when it comes to high performance athletes and scholars and advocates and celebrities? Because that raw passion that we begin with as young people, it can quickly turn into by any means necessary. And to maintain that image of success to please our fans, our families, coaches, industry folks, and friends, all of that can be a whole lot. So tonight we're going to explore exactly what it's like to succumb to that pressure to be superhuman, with that whole the show must go on and the game must be played no matter what mentality. Because the reality is, you know, as we know, the desire to even try to be superhuman is not good for our mental health. And our young people feel this pressure now more than ever. Enter social media. So Taraji, first of all, thank you, and just thank you for founding the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation, because none of us would be here without your courageous advocacy. And I wanted to ask you, let's start here, relative to the importance of mental health and wellness in the Black community, with you as the founder of BLHF. You recently were very public about being unhappy, and you were also very public about doing something to take care of yourself. And so I want to ask you tonight, what are your initial thoughts about why this idea that the show must go on is not only damaging to performers or to athletes, but also to the audiences setting up these kinds of expectations?
Well, first of all, it's unrealistic. I mean, that's why we have weekends. That's why we have to go to bed and give our body a rest. These are things that biologically we have to do, or we will succumb to illness. And so it's literally, it's not real. It's a fantasy. It's BS, because you will hit a wall. And it seems like it's easier to have that kind of mentality when you're young, because you're so hungry and you're so new and you're so excited. But as you get older, and this is what happened to me, I I was working. And one day I looked up and I didn't know who I was anymore. Like I lost my joy. I lost my happiness. I lost my why I was doing what I was doing. And it all started to feel like work. And I'm an artist. And the great thing about what I do is that it never felt like work. But I never gave myself a real break. I would take vacations and everything, but most times it would be like for a week or two. And as soon as I leave that vacation, I'm going right into another project. So I never really gave myself a chance to even take in what I had accomplished. And so I noticed, like, the older I would get, the older that I got, that grind mentality just wasn't working for me mentally. It was wearing me out. It was wearing on my mental, and it was forcing me into these dark places because I wasn't in real time, and that's what it means. That superhuman thing. You're not in real time, because in real time, your body's going to shut down and say, hey, it's time to go to sleep. You got to take a nap. It's time to take a break. But when you're in that fantasy world of grind, you don't feel it, until you feel it, because it will deal with you like it did.
Amen.
And I had to go away. I had to go away and shut it all down, unplug and get together.
Yeah, what's that saying? It's like, take care of your body or it will require you, right? Like sit down and rest or it will make you rest.
Absolutely.
That is serious. Now, Jay, let me ask you also, because you coach and advise everywhere from the classrooms to the boardrooms, and men all across the nation with Just Heal Bro Tour and, all the other places in between. But you're also a former professional athlete. So you know this pressure to be superhuman from your own experiences. Can you tell us from that lens, not your therapist hat for just a second, I want you to take that off, but can you tell us from that lens as a professional player, how you were mentally affected as a young athlete?
I thank you guys for having me, Taraji and Dr. Spear for having me on. It's one of those things, and Taraji touched on it. It's very unrealistic. And I think during that time for me, I was so focused on performing. And as Taraji said, eventually your body will shut down, because what is happening when your body is shut down is because your mind is tired. And when your mind is tired, the body is going to respond by shutting down. And I think one of the most unhealthiest things that I saw in sports and even as an athlete was pushing yourself beyond fatigue. Every coach used the quote that Vince Lombardi said, and which holds true, that fatigue makes a coward out of all of us. But also, I think fatigue is actually that signal that's saying, I think you need to take a break. And what we believe is that when we took breaks and when we were tired, and then we would needed it or requested that, hey, coach, I think I need to kind of sit this out, we were often challenged on our ability to push beyond what we were feeling. So you would hear that, pain is just temporary, right? You would hear that if you can't push beyond the tiredness or the fatigueness, right, you're not committed to the team. You're not committed to the end goal. How can you be a champion? And what we're seeing now in real time, that we are not, having opportunities to actually take breaks from our performance. Yeah. And you're seeing athletes that are dropping, at practice, you're seeing it younger and younger. I've never seen so many kids that are dying on the field, that are dying at these sporting events. And I'm asking myself, what is going on? And you look around, everyone is in this intense space of just trying to go. And it's pushing us to a point of no return, and our mental and our physical are taking hits at a rate that is very, very unhealthy for us as a human race.
Yeah.
That is powerful, and I can relate to that because as a therapist, I have the opportunity to work with athletes and artists across industries, across ages, across associations and leagues. And I will tell you the number of children who are not allowed to simply be children anymore. And to your point about like pain, I actually heard a coach tell these kids one day that pain is just weakness leaving your body. And I had to say, stop, time out. No, pain is pain. Pain is your body's way of telling you that you are pushing it to the limit and beyond. And so we have to change that narrative. I completely get where you are going with that. It's tremendous, the pressure that these young kids are in. And they are going to burn out before they even get to the opportunities that you've had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're already seeing that. Studies is already showing right now in between 15 and 21% of athletes, especially these elite athletes, these kids with their parents feel like, my son or daughter are going to play collegiate or, play in it professionally. These kids are experiencing high burnout rates at levels that they have never seen. And these kids are experiencing high rates of depression. And you're also seeing an increase in suicide in college athletes that no one is speaking about. And this is across the board from female and male athletes, because simply these kids are tired. I mean, you think about it, you got to perform at your sport. You're on social media. And if you're quote unquote, see yourself as a brand, you're posting, you're trying to keep up with how many followers you got. You're trying to keep up. And now you have the NIL deal. It's just a lot. And as Taraji said, as I'm aging, what's important to me is rest.
Yeah. I get so excited when it's time to go to bed, baby. That is the highlight of the evening. I'm like, oh, it's time to go to bed. I'm out. I get excited.
It's not happening. Rest. It's not happening.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that.
And sometimes rest is not just sleeping. Sometimes rest is just turning your phone off.
Mm-hmm. And see, I don't think people really understand that social media has become a part of the job description now. I don't care where you go, what you do. It's all about posting. I remember before Twitter had really come out, we didn't have to worry about posting, but now it's a requirement to help promote whatever it is.
Right? From what you ate to the bad day that you're having, look at me crying, to the stress, like everything is documented.
But I'm saying now. as your job, like as an actor, I am required to post about the projects and during the day on set. It's just like, it's too much. It's too much. It's enough to have to work these long 18-hour days. And as I'm portraying these characters, I'm taking on their trauma, right? And sometimes triggering my own. And then I have to share with the world what I'm doing. Like once before, you just went to work, you went to set, and everybody would have to wait until the project was done to go and see it. But now we're like we're live tweeting and posting about what we're working on before the project is even out. It's become too much.
And then our children are watching us as adults, and then they feel the pressure to follow suit as they think this is the way to go. Yeah. So then, Taraji, let me ask you this then, because with that in mind, I mean, you are absolutely beloved by like millions of fans and followers. You talk about social media, and you have this remarkable ability to relate to our community in ways that most people just don't. So I'm curious then for you, like what advice do you offer to those of us that are not celebrities or high performance athletes like Jay, about just the pressure to be superhuman as a result of those expectations that are placed on them? Like maybe it's the single mother or it's the only child who carries that burden. What would you say to them as they are struggling to figure out how do they stay afloat in all of the craziness that is now social media and just trying to keep up?
First of all, take the cape off, burn it, throw it away. It's not real. Watch a Marvel movie if you want to see a superhero, champion for yourself. If you don't feel like it, don't do it. I don't care what it is. If a friend calls and say, hey, let's go out, and you don't feel it, don't do it. Listen to yourself. Stop, ground yourself, breathe, inhale, exhale, breathe with intent, and really listen to yourself and honor yourself. Because no one's going to do it for you. Your friends are going to go and keep going. As long as you keep going, they're going to keep going. And then when something happens, then everybody takes notice. But until you speak up, you have to take up for yourself. Like, if I don't feel it, I'm not going. If the phone rings and I don't feel like talking, I'm not going to answer. And that's not being mean or rude. That's honoring myself. And I owe that to myself. And the older I get, the less I answer the phone. I have a signal. I'll be like, I'm going out tonight. We could go, because literally to me, going out is a nice meal. And I have a signal, my body, and it does it instantly. I'll start rocking. And now my friends know, she ready to go home. That's me. I'm rocking my...
Don't come a knocking, huh?
Go. And it's time rocking myself to sleep, basically. And that's my body letting me know it's time. It's time. Like, I don't know if it's a nervous tick, but I will start rocking. And that's my signal to say, hey, I think I've exhausted my time here. It's time for me to go take care of me.
Ooh, those self-soothing behaviors, when your body just starts to build up, that rock just kind of, that stymie, it helps you. Oh, I could talk about that forever. Okay, wait. So Jay, I got to ask you too, because I know we are so short on time and I want to get all this in, but let me ask you about this in your new series, right? Because you have this great, amazing new series that you're working on, Walk a Mile in My Shoes. And you speak with athletes and performers, among other folks, about their mental health challenges. And I want to know, is the advice that you give to a top performing athlete any different than the advice you give to, I don't know, say a struggling young Black child trying to do their best in school, taking exams, for instance?
I think it's a tad bit different based on the environments, but I think the similarities of the practice of the methods are all the same. I think there are tools that can be transferable, whether you're a pro athlete or whether you're the child, just trying to work your way through school and you're struggling. And one of the things I always challenge everyone is to understand when you're at capacity, to understand when you have reached your level, like, you know what, let me close the book. I'm in this doctoral program and I've shared this with somebody. They says, well, how do you do all this stuff? And you're traveling, you're in this doctoral program. I have learned that there are times when I have to close my laptop. It's like I have nothing else to give to this paper and I'll pick it up tomorrow. And I think that we have this dissonance within us as humans, as Taraji's speaking about, that, with social media. It's just like, even when somebody's booking me to speak, I often feel the pressure. Hey, make sure you post. Mm-hmm. Hey, make sure you put this in your story. And so, and I'm the type of person is that I kind of, dance to my own beat. And so it's like, I won't post them when they want me to, because it's like, there's other things that are going on, but I'm like, I'm going to post it because I don't want it to kind of get lost in everything else. But it's also understanding what honors me. And going back to what Taraji said earlier, what is the why? And that acronym for me is what honors you, whether you're a professional athlete, whether you're a student, what honors you? What is that thing that you need for you? And sometimes it's just to step away from something and say, let me give this a break. And I think if we look at these characters and these superhumans that we see in the movies, just like Superman, he had a booth. And I often tell guys, and especially men, find a booth, meaning find a place where you can take a moment to yourself. You can call your own timeout. It's just like, there's times in a game where it's literally like, coach, we dying out here. You know what I mean? We're dead. We need to call the timeout. And so I think it's important for all of us to learn and to teach these kids when to call a timeout for themselves. And that's sometimes these kids, we need to, when you need to go tell the teacher, hey, Miss Johnson, I need to step out in the hall for a little bit. It's a little bit much right now, because what this is doing is this is preparing them also to understand how to use their voice and not to be these individuals that are people pleasers, these individuals that exerting themselves to this end. Then everyone says, oh, what happened? He had a nervous breakdown, or she just, it's really time for us to really push a narrative of being a human and not trying to be a superhuman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, so then let me ask you, Jay, with that in mind, what would you say is missing in training young athletes and high performers to really address those pressures that are placed on them? Like, is there something that you might have appreciated as a young athlete that you think they could benefit from today?
Yeah, the guilt of not taking breaks. Easy.
Mm.
The guilt of taking breaks, the guilt of pausing. And I like to call my pause is holy. It's sacred. You know what I mean? So these guys, they come out of season. They may take a week off and they're right back in it. So their body don't get a break. If you got a spouse, they don't get a break because it's hard to transition out of in season into the off season because you still kind of in that programming. And so, but you see that with people at work, they leave work and bring work home. And what I like to say, home has to be a place where you check out and you're not checking in into another workplace, you know? And so that's what I would say. It's the guilt of pausing because you hear this, somebody else is working right now while you taking a break. Man, let them work.
Come on. Somebody is up at the wee hours getting it while you sleeping.
While they sleep, I grind. While they sleep, I grind. That's not honoring yourself. You need to be asleep too.
So that's a great point. So then, Taraji, I'll ask you the same thing as an artist. Like, do you feel that you were prepared through the training to deal with the ups and downs in the industry, especially as a Black woman? And then, you know, to that point, like, what should training programs consider adding to their curriculums as they prepare artists for that grind culture?
Absolutely not. I was not prepared. You know, you learn as you go. I just wish when I was at Howard, yes, we did amazing shows and plays and incredible productions. Even got to go to Hong Kong with the cast, with the production of Dreamgirls. Never been outside of the country. It was amazing. But that's a lot of work, you know, and we would be in those tech rehearsals and they would go into the wee hours of the morning and you would see students passed out in the hallway on book bags and still have to get up and go to class the next day. I just wish there were moments where we wouldn't push so hard. Yes, we got to tech. Yes, we got to get this show up on its feet. But where's our moment to break? Where's the meditation? Can we have a sound bath, maybe, some sound healing in between, a moment to just gather ourselves again to catch that second wind so we can get through the rest of this tech rehearsal. I just wish it was a part of the curriculum. I wish I was something that I didn't have to teach and myself later on in life, how to meditate and do yoga and take care of myself from the inside out. I wish that was a part of the curriculum. Because in this madness and trying to keep myself and hold myself together in this industry, I had to find it for myself, meditation and, learning when to say no. I had to learn that, but no one sat me down and said, take care of yourself. You don't have to do everything. I thought I had to say yes to everything. I had to learn later on in life and in this industry that no was the most powerful word that I had. The most powerful tool that I could use was the word no. I learned that later on, much later.
Mm-hmm. So see, now we're talking those coping strategies, and those are all those healthy, effective ones. So that's a great segue into this idea about those ineffective ones or the unhealthy ones, the substance abuse stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, Jay, let's just be real, because a lot of our young folks, our creatives, the advocates, athletes, so many people sometimes turn to substance use or, any other type of use, if we will just be real, because there's so many ways to self-medicate as ways to just deal with a lot of the depressive disorders, because they feel the disappointment if they don't meet the expectations of what mom and dad wanted them to be. They can become withdrawn, and parents are kind of at a loss oftentimes as what to do when the kids are struggling. And so I'm curious, what is some advice that you might give to parents or guardians or even coaches to help young people get the help that they need if they find that they are engaged in some unhealthy self-medicating behaviors?
Yeah, one of the advice that I would really want to echo is really focusing more on developing the person rather than the skill or the athletic ability. Even when we're looking at coaches, they're so focused on how fast these guys can get, how big we want him to get in the off season, or parents is focusing on, I want you to get this A, and you need to have this GPA. And I think we need to place more emphasis on focusing on building the person we are so focused on building personas, and these personas are killing the person. And so I think the advice is, let's focus on how does he or she manage their mental health while they're pursuing their athletic pursuits or pursuing their scholastic pursuits. What is that process for them? We should really focus on building the whole person holistically, not just educational, athletically, but building this person so they can have an understanding of when they are at capacity and when they're at their limits, so they can be able to verbalize, hey, I need a moment to myself. You know what? I don't think this is a project that I can be a part of. And going back to what Taraji said, I think a lot of us are learning that now as we are aging, because we all kind of grew up like, you got to say yes to everything, especially if you're trying to get your name out there. You got to be on this platform. You got to be on that platform. And I've even had to learn the power of no, and understanding that my no actually protects what I say yes to. So I can be fully invested into my yes and not be in a place where it's like, why did I even say yes to this?
Yep.
Yes. You better preach a word.
So I think we need to advise these kids also on how to say no, because there's such a fear, we call it FOMO. There's such this fear of missing out. And so these kids are anesthetizing with so many different things, and they're coping with drugs because they want to be up all night. If I'm up all night, I can create, and not realizing that your body needs to rest. If you look at Big Farm and you look at what they are pulling in from sleep aids, just from sleep aids, because people cannot sleep. You know what I mean? And you think about that. That's something the body naturally does, but nobody can do it because we're overstimulated,
Way overstimulated.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And we've been talking to you all as the adults this whole time, but I think we should just take these final few moments to hear from one of our youth. And so I want to welcome Addison to this conversation. And Addison, it's so great to have you here. Now, Addison, let me ask you this, because you are the youth mayor of DC, advocating for young people to take care of their mental health, and you've had some challenges of your own. So first, I want to ask you, what does the youth mayor of DC, or what does it mean to be the youth mayor of DC? And can you just kind of give us a typical day as you try to balance school, home, and social life? Like, what is all of this for you?
Well, my role really consists of being an advocate for youth and the issues that they are facing. So I talk to youth a lot. I take the issues that are most prevalent in our communities, and I really work with city officials, adults, lawmakers to figure out ways and solutions that we can work with youth or help to fix their issues, help work with them to make them not as bad. And so a typical day for me, it is, when I tell you this is an all day, every day thing, especially this month, Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental health is really a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. And so I have been spending this month on a speaking tour to different DC public high schools where I'm going and trying to end the stigma around the conversation, helping other kids understand that it is okay not to be okay. I think especially the Black community. So I've been going to different DC public high schools. And so a lot of the students that I'm speaking to are African American. And so I think a lot of times we feel like we need to be strong because we do. Our world forces us to, and our country forces us to. The racism that we're constantly facing and the numerous other issues, gun violence, everything else, we feel like we have to be strong all the time. But when it comes to our mental health, the strength comes from you admitting that you are not okay and seeking out help. I personally think that takes a lot of strength, a lot of courage from an individual. And so I've been going around to schools kind of trying to help other youth, other teens specifically, who are most prone to mental health issues understand that. But yeah, it's a very busy schedule to answer your question.
And it's Addison, let me ask you this though, because that is a very huge undertaking that you are doing at such a young age. And, you know, with Jay and I as therapists, we know how heavy this lift can be. And Taraji overseeing this organization, we know how heavy this lift can be. How do you manage your own mental health under all of the pressure that comes with the work that you're doing?
Well, specifically over COVID, I discovered that I enjoy painting. I take the time to, like was stated earlier, put my phone away, get myself out of all of the distractions of the world, focus my time and energy on something that is calming, enjoying to me personally, and it helps relieve a lot of the stress and anxiety that I am overcoming or that I am dealing with. And then I've also learned to say no a lot more. That took me a very long time to kind of be able to do. I felt like I have to be superwoman and do everything. Everything felt as important as the next thing. And I had to understand that in order for me to perform my best, in order for me to be at my best for others, I have to take care of myself first. I have to be the best version of myself for everyone else who needs me. And so that means prioritizing myself and being able to say no. And then lastly, I would really just say taking breaks. And what that means is going to the mall, hanging out with friends, doing things that other teens are doing, other youth are doing, and kind of trying to remember that that is still who I am, though I may be very busy.
There we go. Being able to remember that is still who I am. And hopefully us adults will do enough of the heavy lifting so that you can enjoy your adolescence just a little bit longer. But I thank you for all the work that you're doing, and we definitely need your voice in the trenches. So thank you. And thank you for joining us tonight as well. Thank you. Woo! I am so excited and fired up because, you know, we can do some work with the youth when they are talking like that. That's great. Well, you know, let me ask you guys as we get ready to wrap up, because I want to honor and respect your time. But, you know, we've heard how Addison manages her mental health under pressure. I'm wondering, can you give us all one of your best tips, Taraji and Jay, around maybe how to deal with pressure from both the external or the internal, maybe a takeaway or two? And, you know, I know from my work as a therapist that often the culprit is the narrative that's in our heads. Mm-hmm. And that can be sometimes just as debilitating as the culprits that are outside in the world. So can you leave us with your best personal anti-pressure or maybe anti-anxiety advice that you give yourselves when that Superman or that Superwoman cape tries to show up and you start to put it on?
I just say I'm not in the Marvel comics. You know, there are no special effects in my real life. Everything is happening in real time. And so sit down, take the cape off, throw it in the trash, put it away, put the script and the pen away that you're writing. Because once I realized I was writing these scripts, it was my therapist that showed me that I was writing amazing scripts. I find that taking my shoes off and going outside and grounding myself to the earth really helps, because it really reminds you that this is real. You are here, right now. Planting my feet on the solid earth and grounding myself and intentionally breathing reminds me that it's real time happening.
That is so good. Ooh, I need to go take off my shoes and walk in this grass right about now while you're playing. Yes. Well, Jay, how about you? You also, come on, let's just be real. You also have an incredible schedule taking care of others. So what do you tell Jay about the pressure?
I've learned to stay present in the moment, not to get ahead of myself. And, you know, I think, you know, anxiety explained in real time is being here and wanting to be there. And I think we all battle with that, right? You're concerned about the future and you're trying to forget about the past. And so I just learned to be present. You know, I love flowers. That has become my thing, you know, going to the flower shop and picking out flowers. And what it does is it pushes me to slow down because you have to take your time, and especially when I'm putting together arrangements, I take my time, taking the leaves off, cutting stems, and dressing up my arrangements and stuff like that. And so today I was out looking at I'm going to open up this flower shop for men, probably the end of this year, early next year. So I was out looking at just some things that I can add, but just finding moments where I'm not talking about mental health, I'm not talking about therapy, I'm just being. And so I think that's what I've done, a lot of in 2023 is just finding moments where I can just be.
Yep. And you see the overall theme here, nature. It's right here to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
Come on. And we ignore it so much with our heads down on our, devices, or, like Jay said, thinking about the future, trying to forget the past, that we don't even realize that we're standing right in a bed of beautiful tulips. You know what I mean? So that's that nature. Nature is one way to stay present and just be one with nature. It's real.
Yes.
It's healing.
And to that point, there is a reason why we are now beginning to write what we call nature prescriptions, where literally, depending on the state that you live in, if your doctor or provider writes you a prescription, a nature prescription, you can go to state parks all year long for free, because the importance of being able to reconnect back to the earth and take that time to smell the tulips and the flowers and put your feet in the grass and just take in the fresh air. It matters. It matters.
It does.
Thank you all so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Just thank you. I'm so serious. And we commend all of you, not only for your work in this space, but as you guys have talked about tonight, most of all for your advocacy for total mental health and wellness, for every member of this community that's viewing us today and who will view us tomorrow all around the world. Thank you. We salute each and every one of you.
Thank you.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm Jay Barnett, a mental health expert. Recently, I've partnered with Shoe Palace to present a mental health series for the month of May titled Walk a Mile in My Shoes. In this series, we're going to dive deep into the lives of individuals from all walks of life, actors, entertainers, athletes. So stay tuned as we take a walk in their shoes.
Come walk a mile in my shoes.
Wasn't that insightful? Thank you, Taraji, Jay, and Addison. Gosh, I love the youth. And I enjoyed every moment of being a part of that conversation. Okay, everybody. As we come to a close this evening, it's time to announce our 10 Joy Award recipients. Now, each will receive $10,000 to be used towards their own joy and well-being. And this year, we've added 4 additional Joy Awards to celebrate our youth mental health advocates. Each of them will receive $2,500. The winners will get tickets to, drum roll please, the BET Awards in Los Angeles, California, sponsored by BET. Thank you, BET. They'll also receive Apple devices supported by Propel. These 14 recipients have gone above and beyond in service for their communities. A culturally competent Black mental health professional, advocate, or integrated wellness practitioner is such a valuable part of this journey. And we cannot get there without you. So let's get to it. Please help me congratulate our 2023 Joy Award recipients.
The winners in our Youth Advocates Joy Award category for 2023 are Olalekan Lawal, Tarrant County College, Grand Prairie, Texas. Olalikan was selected for the keen understanding of how to help young adults in inner cities experience equitable access to mental health care. Congratulations, Olalikan. Heaven Olivia Menales, Ocoee High School, Ocoee, Florida. Olivia is a 9th grade student already active as a board member of her family's nonprofit organization, Motivational Visions and Purpose Incorporated. Thank you for your work, Olivia. Rihanna Willis, Surrattsville High School, Clinton, Maryland. Rihanna is advocating for positive mental health as a crucial component to healthy development and the overall quality of life. Congratulations, Rihanna. Your voice is so needed. Tristan Olive, God's Miracle Homeschool, Cary, North Carolina. Tristan is a 13-year-old male student with autism spectrum disorder. He faces many obstacles and he knocks them down with grace and ease. He volunteers in his community at a food pantry and by helping his fellow neighbors with small household projects. Thank you, Grandmother Alexis Pruden, for the nomination. And Tristan, you are our hero #1. Congratulations. In the category of Integrated Wellness Practitioners for the 2023 Joy Awards, Leah Frazier. Leah Heals, Dallas, Texas. Leah was recently recognized as one of the most renowned mindfulness leaders by D Magazine in Dallas, Texas. Leah, thank you for bringing these healing modalities and their superpowers to life. Kayla Harley. The Bee Body Marketplace, Brandywine, Maryland. Kayla is devoted to helping individuals restore balance to body and mind through the connection of breathwork. Kayla, congratulations. We appreciate your joy work. Our 2023 Joy Award winners for their advocacy are Taryn Hill, founder of High Functioning Black Girls, Cincinnati, Ohio. Taryn is a passionate change agent for mental health. She has dedicated her career to advocating for marginalized populations. Thank you for your care to the community, Taryn. Benquisha Milligan, Renaissance Middle School, Fairburn, Georgia. Benquisha believes that everyone has a story, and sometimes adverse behaviors are just a mask for deeper things going on in a student's life. Benquisha, thank you for your care of our youth, our future. It is so important. Martin Sims, founder, We Thrive Foundation, Houston, Texas. Through his work, Martin is on a mission to advocate that athletes learn to manage stress and anxiety by promoting overall well-being and resilience. Martin, congratulations. The 2023 Joy Award winners in the category for mental health professionals are Elise Flunder, Vines Talk Healing, Buffalo, New York. Elise believes that mental wellness should be a lifestyle and that you have to make a conscious decision to make it a priority every day. She has dedicated her career to helping people do just that. Thank you, Elise, for lighting the path. Jackie Johnson, Sankofa Healing Studio, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Jackie is helping Black people not just to survive, but to thrive physically, spiritually, economically, socially, intellectually, and environmentally. Congratulations, Jackie. Aaron Muller, Modify Wellness Incorporated, Springfield Gardens, New York. Aaron is focused on empowering Black men to seek therapy and trademarked Black Kings Need Therapy Too. Aaron, thank you for helping our men know that there is so much strength in seeking help. Camille Proctor, The Color of Autism Foundation, Beverly Hills, Michigan. Camille has been an advocate creating equitable spaces in employment, education, and the community for autistic and neurodivergent individuals. Congratulations, Camille. Joy truly belongs to everyone. Lisa Savage, Center for Child Development, Baltimore, Maryland. Lisa is a visionary that recognized the need to bridge the gap in mental health services for children in areas lacking access. Lisa, thank you for this important work. Thank you and congratulations to each and every one of you. At the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation, we could not do this work without you. Once again, congratulations. To find out more about each of our winners, stay tuned to our website. Each of our 2023 Joy Award winners will be featured on BET's digital platform.
Thank you to everyone here with us tonight for your commitment and for your love for our community. Remember, tomorrow, June 4th, is Black Mental Health Professionals Day. So reach out to a therapist, counselor, teacher, integrated wellness practitioner, advocate, or a pioneering young person and just say thank you. We have a toolkit of graphics in the resource room if you want to get extra creative. It takes all of us to be for us. I'm Dr. Spirit, and thank you again for having me. Now, I'm sending you over to Taraji and Tracy Jade to close us out for the night. Good night.
We are often asked by you, supporters of BLHF, how you can get involved. Well, I'm glad you asked. We have an amazing opportunity for all of you to participate this fall in October in cities across the nation. We will host Joy Joints, where teams get together and create moments of conversation and movement with your tribe, from old school double dutch tournaments to city or rural hikes, basketball, you name it. Gather your fellas and your girls. This will be a friendly competition as we raise funds to support all of BLHF's programs. Make sure to sign up on our website if you're interested in bringing your city and your team on board. We are planning to have a good time and so many surprises.
And congratulations to our 14 Joy Awards recipients. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, BET, for sponsoring this event and our winners. Thank you, Propel, for providing the Apple devices. I want one.
Me too. Thank you to all of our friends and BLHF staff who worked so hard to put this evening together. Thank you, panelists, for sharing your insights. You a rock. And thank you to every one of our mental health providers and advocates all over the world, young and old, wise, who give your hearts and time every day to lift up the Black community.
Thank you, everyone, for coming and being a part of this very special evening with us. Our young people need us now more than ever to help them actualize joy.
We hope that you take advantage of all the tools and resources provided here today to support you and our youth. Go back and catch the segments you may have missed when replay is available, which is coming soon. Follow us at BL Henson Foundation on Instagram for updates.
We love you all, and remember to choose joy over everything. Good night and God bless.
Realize joy, actualize joy.